Number 14, z squared plus 10z minus 24 equals 0. What is one of the solutions to the given equation? Now, usually with this, a lot of students want to go straight to graphing. If you do, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with graphing. If you've done a lot of factoring, then honestly, it might be a little bit faster because this one isn't a overly complicated factoring one. We don't have a negative out front. We don't have, out front, right here. We don't have an extra coefficient there in front of that first squared variable. So as far as factoring goes, it's pretty straightforward. If you want to graph it, totally fine, of course. Do what you know you can get the right answer and it's going to be the fastest for you. So this one, you might notice it doesn't equal y, it equals 0. So when you graph it, you're going to get straight lines if there are solutions, up to 2. Could be 1, could be no straight lines. But because it equals 0, that's what you're going to get. You're just going to get vertical lines. And those vertical lines are going to be equal to x equals a number. And that number is your solution. Now, because it says one of the solutions, we can assume there are 2 solutions. Yeah, because it's saying, what's one of them? Then it means there's likely to be 2. I don't think they're being that tricky. If side note, if you have a parabola where it's equal to y, and like this was x squared and x is equal to y, or we have just 2 variables involved, then the graph you're going to get is going to be a parabola, and you're going to be looking for the places where it crosses the x-axis if those exist. So you're going to do that. You're going to look in, if you're graphing it, and see where those 2 lines are. If you decide to factor it, when you factor something like this, it doesn't have a number, a coefficient in front of that first variable that's squared. It doesn't have a negative in front of it. It is just our very introductory factoring. We don't have to do anything fancy. And what you're looking for is 2 numbers that multiply to get negative 24, but that they add together to get positive 10. So to negative 24, what goes into 24? It's 2 times 12. I always like to start with the lowest one first and go up from there. And then so that could be either negative 2 positive 12 or 2 negative 12. And if you're looking for speed, I say add them as you go. Great. Excellent. And edit. And alarm. Yay. So I'm not going to get this done. That's excellent. Okay. Great. Whatever. This shouldn't have been hard. In 3, 2, 1. With this, because it is a... In 3, 2, 1. With this, because it is, we're wanting for speed. If I was doing this for a class, I would probably go through all of my options. I'd write them all out. And then I'd go through and add them all. But because this is for speed, I'd probably be adding as I went if I'm taking this test. So I would even start up here. I'd be like, okay, first, negative 2 and 12. Negative 2 plus 12 is 10. Wait a minute, I've already got my answer. You see what I'm saying? Or even if I'd started with 2, negative 12, I'd be like, negative 10. Oh, that's really close. I think I just need to reverse the sign. It needs to be negative 2, positive 12. All right, 10. You don't have to write out all those factors. Just do them as you go. Once you found the one, we're not being graded on our work here. We're being graded on the answer. So the answer is the key. So, okay, right off the bat, and if I'm adding as I go, I get that it's negative 2 and 12. So I always write x by default. It's going to be z minus 2 times z plus 12 equals 0. And when we set each of these equal to 0, which is how we solve for factoring, because this times the number equals 0, or this times the number equals 0, one of them has to be 0. When we multiply 2 things together and get 0, one of those 2 things must be 0. So here, z minus 2 equals 0. To solve, we add 2 to both sides, and we get z equals 2. Here we subtract 12 from both sides, because we're undoing what's been done to z. So we're just going to get z on the left and negative 12 on the right. And as you may notice, or you may have already learned this from the factoring, when it's not a fancy a factoring equation when there isn't anything in front of this initial squared variable, when it's just straightforward, we're going to get these two equations where my final answer is the opposite of what's in there. So here at z minus 2, my answer is positive 2. Here at z plus 12, my answer is negative 12. Again, that's only when there's nothing weird or funky going on and there's nothing in front of the z. There's no negative, there's no coefficient. In front of, I should say in front of the squared variable, because it could be a z, it could be an x, what have you. So only in that case, it ends up just being the opposite. And that's why I said, if you practice factoring a lot, this may be quicker to do it manually. Because if you've practiced a lot, you wouldn't have to write all that out. And never misinterpret me as saying there's anything wrong with needing to write stuff out. There isn't. And if, that's what you have to do to answer it, of course it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing shameful about writing stuff down. I'm just saying, if you get to that point, if this applies to you, where you've practiced and you've recognized this pattern and you got it solid, and you feel like, oh, I don't need to write it down. You may not. You may get to just this point and just go like, okay, negative 2 and 12 is 10. I know it's going to be the opposite of those, so it's going to be 2 and negative 12. But you have practiced a lot and be very confident to be able to go to jump to that. So anyway, those are the methods that you can do. When there's multiple methods, I feel like I'm talking so much because I'm giving you all these different ways of doing it. So I hope that's not adding confusion and making things worse. I apologize if that is not my intention. My two possible solutions are 2 and negative 12. They're asking what is one of the solutions. Do not put both of them. It'll get it wrong. So just pick one and move forward and you've got your answer. Hey guys, it's Alyssa, and if you're looking for more SAT or PSAT help, go to mathwithalyssa.com. There you can get over 25 hours of test prep. This is for both math and reading and writing, both sections. They also come with practice questions, downloadable study guides, and more. Links to everything are in the description down below. Leave me a comment if you have any questions about this video or any suggestions for future videos. I'm all ears. And if this video was helpful or useful in any way, please let the algorithm know about it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye. And I think I slapped my leg because that's something you do. Why do I slap my leg? Why am I slapping my leg as I'm talking? Who knows? I don't know.